Hey, and we're back, and we're back. I hope, I wish I have all of the audio and video issues taken care of this time. I literally recorded a full episode before taking my son to soccer practice, and the video was an issue. Like it was terrible. So I had to re-record it right now, and that's what we're gonna do. But I think I got everything perfectly. I tested everything. I tested the audio. I tested the video. I did everything. So we're ready for episode 179 of Japan According to Akil. I am your host, Akil, living in Japan since 2004. Your boy, I don't know what else to say. Thank you all for checking in. Online, offline, you got to be online to listen to this. But online, audio, visual land, wherever you're watching it, I appreciate it. It's great to be here. I have stuff prepared for you guys. We have a great show on hand, and even though, of course, it's my second time saying some of this, I'm still enjoy talking to you guys always. So it's not an issue at all. I love doing this, and I'm really happy and appreciate you, whether it's for the first time or you're OG listener. I appreciate you taking your time to listen to me talk crazy about my life here in Japan and drop some gems, drop some dimes, drop some knowledge about what it's like to live in and around Tokyo and in the Tokyo area. So that's what we're gonna do. Before we get started, though, re-recording this does give me a chance to do a little bit of talk a little shop. But one thing first, please, if you have a chance, if you made it this far in the video, if you just haven't turned it off, it's like, who's this guy? you know. Oh, hey, what's up? No, I'm recording something. Okay, I'll come down and let you know. Okay, all right. Close the door. Okay, that's that. I'm gonna leave that in. That's my son. That's my son asking me for stuff. But anyway, what was I talking about? Don't come back in here, please. Okay, that's my dad moment of the podcast. Okay, so anyway, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, I have a few things to go over with you guys. Well, first off, see, I completely lost my train of thought now. It's not his fault; he's a kid, but yeah. So I have a few things to go over with you guys about what's going on. The first and most important thing, if you're listening to this online, I got one or whatever platform you're consuming this, I got one request for you guys. If you don't mind, if it's not out of your way, I would like you to consume this on YouTube as much as possible, this content on YouTube as much as possible. The reason why is because I'm fairly active on YouTube now, for the past couple of weeks, and there's a few benchmarks I need to hit to really be able to offer a wider variety of products, which I'll talk about in a second. But the minutes that are consumed for long form video are really important into that equation. And so if you're listening on audio until I hit that benchmark, if you don't mind just watching it on YouTube, it will really contribute to me getting my YouTube channel where it needs to be. Of course, a like and a comment will also help as well. To spread it out to other people, if you don't mind. Again, if you're on the move or whatever, and you got data constraints, I completely understand. That's no problem at all. But if it doesn't bother you, just hit the YouTube joint, and that will help me out a lot. So one of the main reasons why is because we got merch coming. We got Japan According to Akil merch coming, and I'm really excited about it. I've been working on it for the past week, really getting it, the designs and stuff where I want them to be. It sounds like, don't worry, it's not just like, crappy merch, like just with like a logo on there or something like that. It's basically what it is for over 10 years, me and Will, I gave the idea to him, like, when we were out, like maybe 10, 15 years ago, about t-shirt designs that I wanted to make related to, at that time, Tokyo. But the idea always stuck in my head. And now with different I can't draw. It's oh my gosh, it's terrible. Stick figures are like as much as I can do, but with the advances in creative software and I was working on AI, getting AI to help me get some of the images that I wanted to get done. I've been able to finagle, like work my little magic and output the type of designs that I've always wanted that are in my head. Basically, translate the images that I have in my head that I want to put on T-shirts and other items and stuff like that for a long time. I've been able to Jimmy rig it and come up with several designs. So currently, right now, I'm in the process of setting up the Japan According to Akio merch store, and oh, sorry about that. And hopefully that will be online in the very near future, days, if not a week or two. I'm still working on setting everything up, but once it's there, of course, I'm not like buy my stuff. It'll just be there. Of course, I'll mention it. It'll be in the link in the profile. But when it's online, and I think basically my theme for it is not just like stuff about the podcast, related to the podcast. It's designs or clothing and stuff like that that I would want to wear outside of Japan to kind of represent my unique flavor living here and being, interested in Japan and things like that. And I really think that you guys as listeners, if you have kind of a similar perspective as me, you will also kind of get what I'm laying down, even if you don't buy it. I think it'll be definitely worth or interesting checking out just to kind of understand my weird kind of perspective on life in Japan, or how I kind of see the thing. So check it out. That's gonna be on the way, but I won't be able to post a merch store until I hit those benchmarks on YouTube, until I hit those benchmarks, which is why I'm asking you to consume the content there, if you don't mind. So that's everything out of the way. That's all the administrative stuff and the intro, the administrative stuff. Let's get to the good stuff. Okay, okay. What I got for you guys. I have a article, which now that I'm using more professional software, I think I'll be a little bit better at showing you a lot of other resources and things like that. So let's get into it. Let's try it out. So this is a website. You might not be. Let me see if I can scroll up and see. I'm kind of scared to mess with this too much, right? Okay, I'm just not gonna mess with this. I'm scared to mess with this too much. But the website is japan-talk.com. It's an old blogging website. I think it's an inactive, but from like the late 2000s. I found it, I use it in my lessons to come up with topics from some of my students sometimes. But it's a really great resource. It's just about a lot of different stuff in Japan. They did a great job and compiled a lot of stuff. Like I don't really read the article so much because most of the stuff is stuff that I know, but we can use it, and how I use it in my lessons as well is the subtitles or from some of the topics we can talk about and things like that. You can see on the screen, it was updated last in 2015 if you're watching on video, and it was originally posted in 2009. So John Spacey, thank you wherever you are, wherever you're at. I appreciate it. You did a great job on this website, or this blog site, I should say. So what we're gonna do is just go through, and I'm gonna just share my opinion about some of the different places. When I previously recorded, I only got through 3, but because I had to run out. But now we have a bit more time, so let's see how many of these we can go through. And let's do it. So 47 neighborhoods in Tokyo. This is just the top 20 list. I'm not going through all 47. It's not happening. Okay. Okay. So the number 1 neighborhood in Tokyo is Shibuya, according to this ranking. It's not a ranking. It's more of a listing. But Shibuya, yeah, I spent my 20s in Shibuya. Like, that's where I really cut my teeth, living in Japan. It's totally different than it was in the past. If you look at the picture, can I get the whole picture? It's kind of weird. Wait, I'm scared to mess with this too much, but yeah, I'll zoom around so you can kind of see Shibuya now. There's a lot of like 3D and stuff like that. This is what it used to look like, when in the late 2000s, if you will, right? Of course, the 109 building is still there. The Starbucks is still there. But it's a little bit less glitzy, a little bit, less Hollywood Times Square-ish. It's just more of a place where young people used to hang out. And I was one of those young people. I remember like the most high-tech thing in Center Guy used to be the Starbucks. I'm sure if you know if you've been the Starbucks that's super touristy now that everyone goes because you can overlook the crossing, the crosswalk there, Center Guy crosswalk or intersection, if you will. When I came here, there was you could just go up there and have a cup of coffee. I that's what I did. I forgot how I found out about it, but several times I go up there, have a cup of coffee, just chill out, and literally just watch, the people pass on the intersection. Like, wow, I'm in Tokyo. This is crazy. Now, I think I walked past there one time. It's just flooded with tourists and people with tripods and all that kind of stuff. It was not like that 20 years ago at all. It was not the tourist hotspot. Tourist trap, if you will. But I mean, if you can manage to get a seat there, like, do it. But what I used to say, what I said in the previous recording was Shibuya. What I used to really do in Shibuya a lot was, of course, go drinking, hang out with Jeff, hang out with Will a couple of times a week. We're going to izakaya, not izakaya so much, mainly like bars, sometimes clubs with coworkers and things like that. The type of places there have changed quite a bit because the vibe of Shibuya has changed quite a bit. Let me see if I can I zoom out a little bit more. I'm just scared to play with this, you guys. I'm sorry. I'm really like, oh my gosh. You can if you can feel oh, here we go. Okay, I can show you guys this, so you can see this is it's talkjapan.com. Okay, let me just stop messing around with this. All right, I'm gonna just show you the list. So even again, go to the website and you can read in detail. I'm just using the sub titles just to guide the conversation, which I'm doing a terrible job of right now. But but yeah, going to Shibuya in the past, like, there were several spots that we went to, but I always recommend, like, basically when you're going any place in Shibuya, used to be like this. I'm not so sure it's like this anymore, but let's say you're going to like a bar, you're going to an izakaya or something like that. Don't just head for the destination that you're going to. Take a second on your way there or on your way back, like, look around for interesting places, buildings, like, what's that, like a hidden stairway going up or going down somewhere. A lot of times, like, I found really cool chill places just following a mysterious stairway, and like you have no idea where it is, and you follow it in there, and then it takes you to some really chill restaurant, izakaya, or a bar that has no sign, or you would have totally walked past, especially on like side streets. Main roads, not so much, because that's where the main foot traffic is, and they're trying to get as many people in there. On side streets, it's the opposite. The people who know, and so you'll probably find a more chill, low key, or really cool, funky place doing it that way. On the side streets of Shibuya, again, now, because there's so much money pumping into Shibuya right now, real estate money, tourist money, young people money. I think it might be a bit harder to find. Like, last time I was in Shibuya, a lot of or even 2 times ago, I'll talk about last time a little bit later, but 2 times ago when I was there, like, a lot of the buildings, places I used to go were just completely destroyed and rebuilt with some other, more retail, mainstream places. It was a little bit bittersweet moment. Some of the places I'm like, ooh, I'm glad they tore that building down, because that that place needs to be shut down. But for the most part, it was kind of a bittersweet moment to see it transition. But again, I'm washed up. I'm a middle-aged dad. I know, like, I'm not gonna be out here clubbing or partying or drinking like maybe a couple times a year. So I understand my time is past. I don't feel bad about it, but it is a very, very different place than I cut my teeth when I was in my 20s. So since we're on Shibuya, I'll tell you a quick story that I was gonna save for later. Like, yeah, because we haven't talked for a while. So I did go out partying in Shibuya with Jeff last year. Like, Jeff, if for you OG listeners, know that he is one of my dogs, and he used to live in Tokyo. We went on that Fukuoka trip. Me, him and Will, but he moved to Kansai for his job. He changed his job. He transferred to Kansai area, and but for work he comes to Tokyo sometimes, and we still keep in touch. Unfortunately, me and Will haven't talked in maybe 3 years, 2 or 3 years now. We just don't. We didn't have a like falling out, but we just drifted apart. And when you're older, it just happens. I think and so, but me and Jeff are really really tight, and he's my best friend in Japan, and so yeah, he was in town, and another one of my friends, I'll call him Paul. His name isn't Paul, but he looks like a broke Tom Cruise, like a low budget economy class Tom Cruise. Like he's an Australian dude, really cool guy, really funny. When I was taking the JLPT test in the early 2010s, him and I both were going for N2 at the same time. We really like worked with each other, coached each other up, and we were both able to pass it. So that we were always cool, but that's when we got extra tight because several other friends had left. Well, I hadn't seen him for like over 10 years, and he came to visit Tokyo. So he was able to meet my kids for the first time. It's like, oh my gosh, you got kids, you're a dad. That's crazy. It was like, it was cool. So he met my kids real quick. My wife loves them. So he met my wife. And then we went out to link up with Jeff. Jeff has like a really good job now. So he was at something, and one of his colleagues also came with him. And so, but he was already sauced up he was like, yeah, I didn't what do you say? I didn't eat at the dinner. I just had drinks. So we were drinking our way there. We were having like beers and stuff like that on our way there. So we were pretty buzzed up, and we were there drinking before he came. So we were all just not eating and drunk by the time we met, which is like a recipe for disaster for us. Quick sidebar, which I'll talk about before. Now Shibuya has officially banned drinking, I think during night hours between 6 and I think 3 a.m. or 5 a.m. or something like that. So in the past, it used to be great just, going to the convenience store, grabbing a beer and walking to your destination. Now it seems like there's no punishment for that, but the police will just kind of be like, hey, put that down or something like that. It's a little bit bittersweet, but I completely understand it. The amount of loitering and people hanging out in front of convenience stores drinking, especially tourists, because you can drink outside in Japan, is great, but they ruined it. Basically, they ruined it. So normally, like if you're walking to your destination with a beer or some alcohol is great, but just loitering in front of places and a massive amount of people is not good. And I also imagine like restaurant izakaya owners put pressure on the local government as well, because if all the foreign people are just hanging outside drinking and not going in restaurants and drinking, the businesses are also losing money too. So I imagine it was a combination of things that contributed to that. But the reason why you come to this podcast or this channel or listen to me is because let me give you the cheat code. So if you do want to hang out in these areas, or when you're walking around, first off, I wouldn't do this if I'm like standing in front of a convenience store. But if I want to go to my destination or walk through Shibuya, for example, and drink, bring a handkerchief. Wrap the handkerchief around your drink and then walk. And trust me, no one will bother you if you're doing it that way, right? So just wrap it around your drink, and then you can walk freely. Loitering or hanging out and doing it is a 50-50 kind of thing, depending on how loud you are, how many people there are. But just walking through Shibuya on your way to a bar or izakaya or a club or something like that, yeah, just bring a handkerchief. Wrap it around so no one can see it. It's like a brown bag policy kind of thing, and no one will really bother you because they'll understand that you're trying to be respectful and trying to be restrained, and it should be totally cool, right? Police aren't really like on people like that here. So okay, so that's oh yeah. But anyway, I forgot my story. Okay. That's what this is. If you new listeners, this is what the podcast is. It's just completely unhinged conversation. I'm trying to stay focused more than before. It used to be just all over the place, even more than this. But basically, so me and Paul, we hang out in the new like chain izakaya area. It's not Nombe Yokocho, because Nombe Yokocho is the old area that I used to go to sometimes. It's like Shibuya Yoko, I think, or something like that. It's near Miyashita Park in Shibuya. It's a long chain of like izakayas. It looks really nice. It was my first time going there, and so we were just there drinking, and then Jeff came. Again, I'm trying to make sure I get their aliases correctly so I don't say their real names on this joint. But yeah, so Jeff came. And then, and his colleague also came. And so we're all just like getting sauced up and we're just yelling at each other, talking crazy. I'm telling old stories, talking dirty, like dirty old men just talking. And then Jeff is like, let's go to C'est La Vie. And if you don't know what C'est La Vie is, let me see. I'm kind of scared, but impromptu. Shibuya. Let's see if I can actually finagle this. I'm taking a huge risk right now because I'm not as confident in the software as I should be. But let's see what happens. Whoa, this is the website for C'est La Vie. It's basically a nightclub that's on top of yeah, I'm not gonna show you the whole thing just because I'm kind of concerned about like messing up this. But it's a nightclub that's on the rooftop, I think, of the Hikarie building. It looks like this. It's kind of rooftop vibes. Inside they have like party room and stuff like that. So we were in here. It's not good pictures, but you can kind of get a feel for what it's like. And Jeff was like, okay. We're gonna go. We're gonna drink some champagne, one bottle of champagne, and then we're gonna go, leave. And I'm like, Jeff, are you sure about that? He's like, yeah, just one bottle. And so we get into the VIP section, and we're doing us, like having fun. I'm not like a really VIP club kind of guy so much because I just kind of missed the opportunity when I was in the States, and it wasn't a big thing here at all. So, but I told you, Jeff is kind of in that world now. So, we're vibing, dancing. Paul's kind of crazy. We're all drunk, and then like the DJ plays like one 2000 late 2000s hip hop song, and because it wasn't that crowded there yet, it gets crowded, it seems like, after Last Train, like 11:30. So, and I forgot, maybe it was Friday. And so we were like, oh, that's the joint. And so we jump on the dance floor, start doing our old day. Our muscle memory kicked in, our party muscle memory kicked in, and we start setting it off in there. Younger people like, who are these guys? We're just like, yo. But then like everyone started getting into it and stuff like that. And so the DJ saw we kind of like animated the room, and he started playing like more stuff from that time. And then like of course girls start coming over, and then everyone, this one dude, younger dude, he was with his girl, like another black dude. I was like, yo, what's up, man? And he's just looking at me like, who are you? He's like, who are you? And his girl's like, yo, come on, why don't you dance? And he's just like trying to be cool, but I'm like, yeah, good luck with that. so we had a great time. And then Paul suddenly just disappears, right? And me and Jeff are like, yo, where's Paul at? Where's Paul? And so we didn't see him, but we were having fun. And eventually, like at about 2:00 in the morning, I was done. And since Jeff was paying for the champagne, he bought like several bottles of champagne and stuff like that. I was like, okay, I'm not gonna take my last train. I'll just take a taxi back, which is really expensive, but he's buying champagne. That's the least I can do. So yeah, and we found out the next day that Paul passed out on the balcony, and he just passed out until morning time. He woke up when the club opened, was closed at like 5:00 in the morning. Luckily it was October and the weather was perfect, but he's like, how do you pass out there? Because it was so many people there. The balcony was open, but Japan, like, he had all his stuff. He was totally fine. Nobody messed with him. And, we all laughed online because stuff like that used to happen to us all the time back in the day. And it was kind of good to relive those memories, with the people you really care about. And if you live in Japan or live in the Tokyo area, like maybe not passing out in the nightclub, but you're definitely going to have nights and stories like that because it's just a great place to hang out and party here. It really is. So, okay, that's my story about Shibuya. Let's keep it going. Do a couple more of these before I get out of here. Next is Shinjuku. So Shinjuku is a place I'm really not that familiar with, like except for a couple of bachelor parties. My bachelor party as well was in Kabukicho because it's just not my bag. You know what I'm saying? Like some people really love it, but I mainly hung out. Or hang out. I don't hang out that much, but if you look at the Yamanote line in Tokyo between Yoyogi and Shimbashi is where generally I hang out. Central or southern, south or southeastern central Tokyo, if that makes sense. In that Yoyogi, Shibuya, Ebis, Meguro, Shimbashi, Ginza, Nakameguro, Daikanyama, a little bit Jiyugaoka. Those were kind of the areas where I really like, roamed around and went spot hopping, if you will, with my friends. So Shinjuku only like, a couple of times, like for, again, a bachelor party, stuff like that. Or occasionally if someone else wanted to meet there for something, but I'm not a huge fan of it, of Ikebukuro and Shinjuku area. Of course, Shin Okubo now is more popular for young people, and the government is trying to clean it up. It will probably be more like what happened in Shibuya over the next couple of years, just because it's such a major area, and they're kicking out, like, I think the more they're going to kick out the Yakuza and things like that, or the underworld related places, if you will. And so we'll see what happens over the next few years, but I see the process happening already, and yeah, we'll see what happens, right? So number 3 is Ginza. Ginza is, I mentioned a few minutes earlier, high end, very high end, but there are really chill, affordable spots if you know where they are. And Ginza and Shimbashi, they're right next to each other. That's another thing I talked about before, is that Tokyo, if you don't know, or if you're a new listener, think about Tokyo not as a city. Think about it as a cluster, or like a honeycomb kind of connection of different areas, or mini cities, if you will. So like Ginza and Shimbashi, for me, I associate the two, even though they're very, very different. They're right next to each other. They're like a 10-minute walk away from each other. So, you're like, Shibuya and Daikanyama, for example, are right next to each other. Nakameguro is 2 train stations away. So how we used to go out was mainly like, you go to an area, we're going to this spot. So either you might, depending on the time or depending what's happening, you might work your way there by going to different spots on your way to the main spot you're going, or go to the main spot you're going, and then after that, some after parties, like, oh, there's another place here, I know a place here in the vicinity, so you might start in Shibuya, then go to Omotesando, and then end up in a nightclub in Daikanyama, or something like that, or the reverse, go to the nightclub and then get out early, go to another bar in Shibuya, then go home, or something like that, and so it was really cool because you got a good mix of different places, and you can just hop in a taxi and it's like a 10-minute ride split between a couple people, or one person pays, or something like that. It was really great. So Ginza is a really upscale area. Lots of big money places, of course, but there are different affordable spots there. I'd like to introduce a few of them to you on another podcast. Let me know in the comments, of course, if you have your spots there that you can share information with other people in these areas as well. Let's get like a little community going if you got the info. If not, like, again, with this program software I have, with OBS now, I can look at websites. I gotta get the sizing right, but I'm just not willing to risk it right now, because I'm just getting everything set up. But yeah, in the future, that we'll be going deep into a lot of these different areas. All right, let's do 1 or 2 more of these, and then I'll get out of here. Omotesando. Again, Omotesando right now it's a posh dining area, but if you think Omotesando is like across the street from Harajuku. Everyone knows Harajuku, but like if you haven't been to Tokyo, Omotesando is literally across the street. I was in Omotesando earlier today trying to get my iPhone fixed, my battery replaced, which I gotta go back tomorrow for. But whatever. Anyway, that's my favorite area in Tokyo right now to hang out. It's just a more mature, chill version of Shibuya, and it's just like right down the street from Shibuya. These places sound far away, but it really isn't. Like Omotesando is like about a 15-20 minute walk from Shibuya and a 10-minute walk from Harajuku, right? But the types of people, the types of shops, the types of places are totally different in each area. Omotesando is a bit more mature, a bit more chill. So I now just skip over Shibuya and go to Omotesando probably after 30. After I hit 30, Omotesando became more my go-to place, and I hear people in their 30s and 40s say the same thing. Omotesando Aoyama is a bit more upscale. You can kind of see, you might have seen this picture before, the main hill leading to Omotesando Hills. Or leading up to Omotesando Hills, we'll do one more. What's number 5? Odaiba. Odaiba. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I've been to Odaiba a few times. I don't recommend going to Odaiba unless you're going shopping on a date or driving. Like I rarely go there. If you're going to like Tokyo Labo, for example, that's fine. But generally speaking, you're not gonna want to go there just off the humble, because the monorail is really inconvenient. It's really separated from Tokyo, which is one of the reasons why it didn't really hit. It wasn't a hit in the 90s, as like an extension of Tokyo, if you will. It's kind of out there on the island. Like if you're gonna go on a date to Odaiba, maybe yeah, but you plan appropriately. It's a lot more spaced out, like isolated the areas and stuff to do, so you're gonna do a lot more walking. But when you do go to it is like a really popular date spot for young people. There's, I think, Zoo something, I forgot the name of it. Like a really big amusement park out there, and there's a lot of stuff to do, like not amusement, like amusement park, not like an arcade, like a late teens early 20s arcade. I've never been in it, but there is stuff to do there, but it's going to be spread out. You're going to walk around a lot. You're in a big mall, basically. So if you can drive, I would recommend driving there if you can afford it. And yeah, when I go there now, I'm driving. I'm not taking the train to Odaiba at 42 years old. Nah, not going to happen. But it's a great place. The Lego Museum, that's where me and Jeff took our kids to Lego Museum there a few years ago. We had a great time too. So yeah. Okay. All right. So we're going to stop it right there for now, this episode. Thank you guys for rocking with me. Sorry it was a bit all over the place. Again, I'm still trying to get used to everything, but I am really happy that I got the audio and visual together. Next stop is the website, stuff like that. We're gonna get that together too. And I forgot to make myself full screen. But yeah, once I get really flowing with this, you can kind of see it's a learning process for me, for us, and that's what this podcast is all about. Again, please check it on YouTube if you can. Help your boy out. I'll let you know about the merch in the online store coming very, very soon. I'm working on it the best way I can. I have so far, I think, 4 designs finished, and once I get it online, then I'll be able to add more and more stuff to it. So really looking forward to that. I'm really having a great time. Thank you all for liking. Thank you all for subscribing. I can't thank you guys enough. I don't know if this is a new chapter in my life starting, to be honest with you, but I'm really enjoying the ride, and thank you guys for following me on it. All right, so I'll holler at you next time. Peace.